The new year has started with an Arctic chill as snow and ice warnings have prompted travel disruption in parts of the UK. Travelers have been warned of delays and cancellations as heavy snowfall and freezing conditions are expected to descend over the weekend. ScotRail announced several train cancellations on Saturday in the north of Scotland, while a number of roads in the region have also been closed. Parts of the far north and northeast of Scotland were under an amber snow warning until noon. The Met Office warned that heavy snow showers could see some rural communities cut off, as well as a risk of power cuts in some areas. Nearly all of Scotland above Edinburgh and Glasgow fall under a yellow snow and ice warning until 12 p.m. on Monday, along with all of Northern Ireland. Much of Wales will fall under a yellow ice warning over the weekend, while both the southwest and east coast of England could see heavy snow in the coming days. The Met Office warned those in the region that travel disruption at the weekend was likely. There was also a risk of injury from falls on icy surfaces, the forecaster said. Multiple cold weather alerts remain active on Saturday as the UK looks set to shiver through the first weekend of 2026. 6 yellow weather warnings for snow and ice are in place, with the latest warnings reaching into Monday, while several amber snow warnings for northern Scotland and Shetland are in place throughout Saturday. The Met Office said areas covered by the amber alerts could see 10 to 20 centimeters of snow at lower altitudes and 30 to 40 centimeters of snow on higher ground, while winds could cause blizzards. It follows a bitterly cold night which saw the mercury plunge below 0 C across the UK, and fall to -6 C in Herne, Dorset. Elsewhere, a yellow warning for snow is in place across western Wales until 10 a.m. with an ice warning until 12 p.m. on Sunday, and on the east coast until midnight. A yellow warning for ice is also in place in the southwest until 10 a.m., while snow and ice warnings are also in place across the whole of Northern Ireland until noon on Monday. Heavy snowfall has already covered parts of Scotland as up to 40 centimeters is predicted in the country, as well as around 5 centimeters in England and Wales. Arctic air has plunged much of the UK into sub-zero temperatures, with nearly -6 C being recorded at Loch Ness on Friday night. Daytime temperatures are expected to remain in the low single figures for much of the country on Saturday, and below freezing in parts of northern Scotland. ScotRail announced several cancellations on Saturday morning, including in Wick and Inverness. Avanti West Coast said overrunning engineering work between Carlisle and Lockerbie meant all lines to Glasgow Central and Edinburgh were blocked. Met Office Chief Meteorologist Rebecca Hicks said, "Arctic air and brisk northerly winds are gripping the UK as we start the new year." Snow and ice warnings remain in force for many areas, with the risk of heavy snow showers, especially across northern Scotland and over higher ground elsewhere, though many inland areas will stay largely sunny and clear. Bitterly cold conditions will persist through the weekend and into next week, with daytime temperatures struggling to rise above freezing for some, and overnight lows dipping to minus double figures in places. We urge people to stay weather aware, keep up to date with the forecasts and plan ahead as icy roads and slippery surfaces are likely. On Saturday afternoon, Network Rail Scotland said that some lines in northern Scotland were seeing snow accumulations of around 20 centimeters. Posting on X, the rail infrastructure operator said, "Strong winds between Aberdeen and Laurencekirk are causing the drifting snow that's closed the northbound line at Laurencekirk. One of our snowplough locomotives is on the way to clear and reopen the line. We've seen in the last hour the heaviest snow over the Aberdeen-Laurencekirk area, and Aberdeen-Inverness lines, in particular between Inverurie and Keith. Those areas will continue to see snow persist, likely getting heavier too." Meanwhile, many roads faced becoming blocked. On the A171, drivers faced blizzard conditions and dozens of vehicles became stuck, forcing some drivers to abandon their cars. The Met Office said the mercury dropped as low as -5.7 C at Drumnadrahit on the shore of Loch Ness in the Scottish Highlands on Friday. Its amber cold health alert means that the weather is expected to have severe impacts across health and social care services. The alert has been issued for the East Midlands, West Midlands, North East, North West, South East, South West, East of England, Yorkshire and the Humber and London. Officials expect a rise in deaths, particularly among those aged 65 and over or with health conditions, with impacts also possible on younger age groups. The British Heart Foundation said cold weather can present specific risks for people with heart problems because the heart has to work harder, which can exacerbate existing health conditions. The organization said there are thousands of additional deaths from heart and circulatory disease in the winter months every year in the UK. Ruth Goss, senior cardiac nurse at the British Heart Foundation, said, "Cold temperatures can increase the risk of heart attacks and strokes, and people with cardiovascular disease are also more at risk of serious illness if they get seasonal respiratory infections like flu. It's especially important that people living with heart conditions are well prepared for the cold snap this winter by wrapping up warm and having their free flu jab." Meanwhile, NHS South West London urged people to ensure they have sufficient food and medicine, keep bedroom windows closed, wear multiple layers of thinner clothing and heat rooms you spend most time in, to 18C if you can. Sir Sadiq Khan said homeless people in London will be sheltered with temperatures set to plummet below freezing during ice-cold evenings. The Mayor's Severe Weather Emergency Protocol, SWEP, has been activated to provide emergency accommodation for rough sleepers. It comes after a 67-year-old man who was pulled from the water during a major rescue operation off the East Yorkshire coast died. A second body was later recovered from the sea before search efforts were called off shortly after midnight. They were set to resume at first light today as authorities search for one more person. Rescue crews launched a dramatic search following reports of a number of people in difficulty in the water, near Laurencekirk, East Riding of Yorkshire, on Friday afternoon as the Arctic chill grips Britain. HM Coast Guard, Yorkshire Ambulance Service, Humberside Police, and Humberside Fire and Rescue all scrambled crews to Laurencekirk at around 3:15 p.m. to try and rescue those in the freezing sea. Yorkshire Ambulance Service initially said 4 people had entered the water, but by 7:15 p.m. on Friday, HM Coast Guard said it was searching for several people, having previously said it was reporting to a number of people in difficulty in the water. Humberside Police has confirmed that the man was pulled from the water, but tragically died shortly after at the scene. The rescue operation continued into the night amid freezing temperatures. It comes just one day after people were not allowed to enter the sea for the annual New Year's Day swim event due to large breaking waves, and amid a yellow weather warning for snow and ice on the Yorkshire coast. Snow showers are expected overnight, with the Met Office reporting a likelihood of around 1 to 3 cm of snow, with up to 8 cm possible in places. Hundreds of schools in northern Scotland will stay shut on Monday after new amber alerts for heavy overnight snow came into force. The Met Office said another 5 to 10 centimetres, 2 to 4 inches, could fall fairly widely in the northeast, Highlands and Northern Isles, while a few places on the mainland could possibly see 20 to 30 centimetres, 8 to 12 inches. The return of pupils from the holiday period has been delayed in Aberdeenshire, Shetland and Orkney, while schools in Aberdeen will have a later start. Widespread snow accumulations in recent days have already led to treacherous driving conditions, with numerous reports of vehicles getting stuck. The new alerts, which also warn of strong winds, began at 1800 hours on Sunday evening and continue until 10 o'clock on Monday. A yellow warning for snow and ice is also in place for areas north of Glasgow and Fife until Tuesday night, while a second warning covers parts of East Lothian and the Scottish borders on Monday and Tuesday morning. Highland Council said road conditions in East Ross, Sutherland and Caithness were particularly challenging, and people were advised to travel only if it was essential. Aberdeenshire Council said more than 100 contractor and farmer ploughs had been helping to clear the snow, but parts of the road network were still said to be impassable. At times vehicles were struggling in difficult conditions on the AWPR bypass that wraps around Aberdeen. COTAG, a voluntary 4x4 response team in the northeast, said it had been called out to assist the NHS over 200 times since the new year. Managing Director Sean Donaghy said this included getting nurses, doctors and patients to and from hospitals. So far, they have been called out to help 3 ambulances that were stuck in the snow and transported 55 members of NHS staff. It's been incredibly busy, he said. Possibly the busiest it's ever been, which is good. It's nice to know that we're helping. Yesterday we got a newborn baby home from Aberdeen maternity back to Bucky. The family could not get back. The road conditions just weren't suitable. But Mum, Dad and the baby are home now and doing extremely well. Donaghy said the weather was up there with a beast from the east, a spell of very cold weather in 2018 which brought snow to much of Europe. He said the team faced a difficult night on Saturday when 5 dialysis patients needed transport home. There were snow drifts above 8 foot, 2.4 meter, that we had to navigate through, he added. Network Rail, which looks after rail infrastructure, said heavy snow had seen snowplough locomotives dispatched in areas such as Kintore in Aberdeenshire as well as further north on the line to Wick. One of its snowploughs encountered drifts up to 1.2 meters, 4 feet, deep near Laurencekirk. Train operator ScotRail said it would be unable to resume some services until Monday afternoon. Aberdeen, Dundee, Aberdeen, Inverness and Inverness, Wick/Thurso and Kyle of local routes were most likely to be affected. Service Delivery Director Mark Ilderton said, "Safety is our #1 priority, so it's very important we make sure all routes that have been affected by the heavy snowfall and low temperatures are safe before we run any passenger services." All Sunday flights in and out of Sumburgh Airport in Shetland were cancelled. Loganair, KLM and British Airways also cancelled some flights out of Aberdeen, although the airport remained open. A spokesperson said, "With weather warnings in place, we urge passengers to check the status of their flight with their airline before they travel to the airport." All schools in Shetland, Orkney and Aberdeenshire will stay closed on Monday as a result of the amber warnings. Aberdeen City Council has said the reopening of schools will be delayed until 11 o'clock due to uncertainty about the weather conditions, and breakfast clubs will not open. Further updates for each school will be issued by head teachers on Monday morning, it added. More than 40 primary and secondary schools in Moray will be closed, with arrangements for home learning put in place, and several vaccination clinics in Aberdeenshire will be shut. Schools in the Highland Council area are not due back until later in the week. Transport Scotland said a multi-agency response team would have extended operating hours to monitor conditions and coordinate various agencies. Transport Secretary Fiona Hislop said, "We've already seen challenging conditions and freezing temperatures, with more snow and ice on the way for the same areas." Of course, for many Monday marks a return to work from the festive break. If you have to travel, then please ensure your vehicle is winter ready and have a winter kit in your car. Assistant Chief Constable Alan Waddell of Police Scotland advised people to consider if journeys were absolutely necessary during the weather warnings. He added, "If you need to travel, please drive to the conditions, be prepared for delays and allow extra time for your journey. Please don't drive through road closures. The decision to close roads is not taken lightly and is done for public safety."